This video provides a sampling of the different day hikes you can do in the Algonquin Provincial Park, as well as various stops that you can do along Highway 60 and the surrounding area. We left Cajube and are now in Algonquin. Algonquin is about, an hour's drive from Cajube going west. We are in the Highway 60 corridor. You are required to have a day permit for your vehicle when you come to the park, and you can get that 5 days in advance online. So we got one for today and tomorrow. They do have black bears in the park. She weighs about 130 pounds. They do have moose up here. This is a map of the Highway 60 corridor. You can get this when you come to the information center or the visitor center. But it has all the trails on here. There are 15 in the park that are walking trails. We did 5 of the 15-day hikes in Algonquin over a day and a half. We're at the Algonquin Logging Museum. This is a white pine that's 140 years old. It looks like they have guides here for $2 Canadian, and you can go through this on your own, and it'll describe the different stations. It's a 3/4 mile loop.
This is a winter home for 52 pine loggers. Holy crap. This thing's an original. No windows replaced the wash. The men slept on 2 to a bunk. This is how they heated the place.
It looks like they've had a fire in here. Yeah. This building here is for the horses that help the loggers. And the hay and food would be along the edges. Once they felled the trees, it looks like they squared them up, and it made it easier to transport. The loggers would clamp right into these logs on each end and then utilize a pulley system to get it off of the ground and onto a sled. And then the horses would be hooked up to take it across the ice. To be able to move logs along, they had to maintain the roads. So they actually iced up the roads after they cleared off the snow using a plow-like device.
Get this sled moving, 20 tons. It's gonna kill the horses and the men.
As the load goes down the hill, they would brake using this contraption. The lake sometimes didn't have a lot of current, so you needed to have something to be able to pull the logs along. They would throw out an anchor downstream, and then the horses would turn the wheel to bring basically a raft forward along with the log jam. So this pointer was used to follow logs down the river, and then they would help unjam the logs as they went. This is a similar concept to the Crooked Slide park that we were at. Basically, the logs go through down the chute to keep them moving. Moving the logs along the river was pretty dangerous, and it was pretty common to have deaths along the way. This is a saw that was invented prior to the 1870s. It was axes only. These buildings are part of a saw log camp. This is a blacksmith's shed, and they used to bring the horses in and tie them here in the middle if they were getting fitted for shoes. This is where people would come to eat. This is the bunkhouse. Quite a difference from where the men used to sleep. There's actually a stove and windows, which you didn't have before. And it looks like single bunks. And we're going from saws that have 2 people to motorized saws. The river drivers were put out of business by the trains and then the trucks. We just finished our route on the logging museum here in Algonquin. What did you think?
Very educational museum, 1.3 kilometer walk. It took you from the beginning of logging in the early 1800s to modern day logging. So it was very nice, very well built, very well laid out. Excellent.
This is Mizzy Lake Trail. It is 1:30 in the afternoon. It's normally 11 kilometer loop. We're not going to do the full loop. We're going to basically go out and back, probably to the lake. On the back side, it's going to be very muddy, so we're just going to do the out and back. Trail is definitely more primitive than what we were hiking over by Kashubi. It's got rocks, it's got roots.
A lot of roots and rocks, man. And you got to continually watch for these things so you're not stepping on them and tripping, twisting an ankle. There's where your moose hang out right there.
Maybe. This is Dizzy Creek. It's about 0.6 in from the trailhead. You can see the beaver dam. Sure, it's one. About 1 mile in, we have gotten to Mizzy Lake. This is what the trail's named after. I didn't expect to see this. I think that's a lady slipper. We hit a boardwalk here on the end of Mizzy Lake. Any ideas what this reddish looking plant is? This trail is marked with blue circles. They mentioned a section that follows the railroad bed, and I think this is it. This is West Rose Lake. No moose. The mosquitoes are out a little bit, but they could be so much worse, so I am so thankful that they haven't bit me too much. Nice little breeze up here. We're going to turn around here. We're at 2.7 something now, heading back. Now into the woods. Alrighty, back at the boardwalk.
Mizzy Lake Trail. We got with the park ranger, and he basically said the west side of this trail was all muck and washed out and all swamp and bog, and he said if you don't have waterproof boots, don't even do it. So we didn't do that. We went 2.72 miles down the east side, and a lot of roots, rocks, and a little bit of rain before you hit this boardwalk. And then you hit the boardwalk, and it's nice. And you got a short section, then you hit a railroad spur, and you follow an old railroad up to the lake up there. But we stop over there as checkpoint number 4. So the round trip is going to be 5.5.
That exceeds your
That exceeds
rule.
my rule of 5s. Throw in at least a mile at the logging museum. This is going to be over 6.
We are back. 2 hours and 45 minutes with our break And the parking area has cleared out. We were the last parking spot when we took it. So we're back. Well, that's what I think of mosquitoes. We do the Spruce Bog Boardwalk. It's about a mile loop. And what's interesting at all these trailheads is they have booklets that you can pick up and then actually redeposit here for others. So this is what the brochures look like. Each of them have a different topic. This one is the bog ecology. We're going to do look at trail later, which is Algonquin geology. And if you do decide to keep it, they ask for a donation. Otherwise, you just redeposit the booklets when you're done. This weather is so changeable. It was sprinkling earlier. It rained last night. The weather forecast varies every time you look at it, so you never know.
This is perfect right now. You got to do hour by hour here, but you never know when you're going to need a rain jacket.
So we're gonna bring them with our umbrellas just in case and enjoy our day. They have these numbered stations which correlate to your book. Number 2 talks about what you're seeing below our feet and how it came to be. Can you imagine what it took to put these boards in place?
You're going to sink right in there.
And what it takes to maintain them, it must be crazy. These trees around us are the black spruce. From what I just read, the black spruce is used in the pulp and paper industry here in Canada.
Nice pine cone, speckled with a little bit of sugar and flour on top.
Wait 5 minutes and the weather changes. We've got a little rain now. Back at Sunday Creek Bog. This bog was made by weavers. And just like that, we are back. I'm going to return the pamphlet right here. What I liked about the trail was how pretty it was. What I disliked was the noise from the traffic. Lookout Trail, it says 1.9 kilometer loop. All Trail says 1.3 miles. Well, at least it does go to a lookout, so there is going to be a slight cliff. You can hear me breathing. A little more uphill on this trail. Nice little breeze today. It's in the mid-50s. Feels good. That was a fairly quick loop. That's where we started. We just have this little spur connector and we're back at the car. We just finished our lookout trail here in Algonquin. What do you think of this trail?
Nice, user-friendly. No rocks, no roots, or very
just a
few.
little at the top.
Nice overlook, nice lake, not real crowded, and nice cool weather with a nice breeze.
Yeah, he summed it up very well. Little uphill. Be prepared for that. This is Whiskey Rapids Trail. It's on the west end of the park. 2.1 kilometers. I think it's about 1.3 for the miles. Well,
I'm doing this under protest because I like Whiskey River song by Willie Nelson. So we're going to do Whiskey River.
we have a beaver dam back there. It's just small. We chose to do the Whiskey River Trail just to get some variety and a sampling of the park. We've done the lakes, we've done the bogs, and we've done a educational museum trip, so this is our variety.
Correction, this is not the Whiskey River Trail, it's the Whiskey Trail. I named it the Whiskey River Trail on behalf of Willie Nelson.
I stand corrected.
A lot of deadwood in this spot right here. See, this thing loops around.
We've seen these white flowers along almost every trail we've been on. The weather keeps wanting to change on us. You can see Vito put his rain jacket on. And I decided to put up my umbrella. Vito was giving me a hard time because he says it's a fashion statement, and I think it's very practical. You can see I've got it attached hands-free. I can walk with my hiking poles and an umbrella. There is some rapids here. I don't know if that's as fast as they get. The sun is coming back out. I'll probably take my umbrella down. So when I'm doing this umbrella thing, I do carry it on my trekking pole with these attachments so that I don't have to get in and out of my pack to get to the umbrella. I just took a slip on this slick rock here, so my first aid kit comes in handy. All right, Vito, what did you end up doing?
Well, the rocks are slippery down. I went down to that rock to get some footing, and it's slippery, so slippery rock.
So these signs have been along the river here close to where these rapids are, and I'm not exactly understanding what is going on. There are rocks down here. Yeah, so if canoes come down, they'll go down the middle where the current's the strongest. And I don't know why people would be putting stones out there unless they want a swimming hole. I don't know. We are heading back. I was down at the beginning, so it is up at the end. And just like that, we are back to the beginning. The rest of the day, we're just gonna explore, see what else you can do up here, because this is a nice area. They have canoeing, so we may stop and get information for any future vacations up here.
All right, we just finished the Whiskey Rapids Trail.
Yeah, not Whiskey River, not Whiskey Trail. It is Whiskey Rapids Trail.
Oh, well.
I liked it. The nice part about this park is that the trails are accessible, very accessible. But the downside is they're right next to this Highway 60, and in a lot of cases you can still hear the traffic. So that's the only disappointing part. You can hear a car going by right now. But the walk along the river was nice. The rapids weren't huge. They were pretty small, but at least we're down by the river, something different. It was a nice trail.
No comparison to the Whirlpool Rapids of Niagara?
The Whirlpool Rapids in Niagara Falls are very fast, very huge, very loud. How's your picnic area?
Good. Low budget.
Here's a few rapids. This is right down from the dam for Tea Lake. We're gonna have a picnic near the water here and listen to it while we have a snack. Tea Lake Dam. dam. They put a buoy system across to try to prevent the logs from going into the dam. We have a moose right down here. We saw a moose.
Moosages galore, man.
Right by the side of the road. Exciting. What a way to finish off the day with a moose sighting. We are going to finish off with a snack back at our Airbnb and just relax for the rest of the night. It was a perfect day. We got in some day hikes, we got in some beautiful scenery, and we saw a moose. So there's not much more you could hope for. We even had good weather. It only sprinkled a little bit. We've been staying in the town of Whitney, in South Algonquin. We are at the Memorial Park. It's across from where we ate last night, the place we do not recommend, the Mad Mushers. We just finished at the Mad Musher restaurant. We do not give a recommendation for this place at all.
2 hours from the time we got here until the time we're leaving. An hour and 10 minutes to get served.
So yeah. So we placed our drink orders, no problem. That went well. But then Vito finished his drink and we did not see the waitress until...
We didn't see a waitress for 35 minutes. Went back to the bar. Bartender brought me a drink. Didn't see her again for another 20 minutes. Then went and checked on the food and said, are we ever going to get served? Said, well, you go check.
You might want to check.
So this was the most terrible service I've had in my life.
Vito had a good dinner. I ended up with a macaroni and cheese dish with Gouda cheese, and it was just runny. Ended up talking to the manager. She gave me 60% off of that. But yeah, it was not good.
Did you tip her?
I did not tip her the full amount. I gave her a small tip, and the reason I did that is because she is new and she listened to feedback. Otherwise, I wouldn't have given anything.
She was rude.
We can recommend the breakfast lunch place at the gas station on the corner.
We recommend it?
Yeah, I'm recommending it. Oh. This is our little Airbnb. We have a nice setup down here by the water. There's our Airbnb. So this Airbnb is a very small place. It's got a deck out here. That's the main house, which we have a shower in there to go to, and a bathroom. So we have access to an outside patio. It's got a microwave, little sink. Alright, we are leaving Algonguin Provincial Park. A cool 45 degrees this morning, a little brisk. Just crossed over into the US. We're gonna have to show our ID.